Yes guys, it's FPL Guy here and welcome back to the FPL Guy YouTube channel. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now in today's video, we'll be continuing this series where I talk about the top 1k players. I'm just going to call it a series now because I made a couple of videos already about this and you guys seem to really like it. So here's another one for you. And in today's episode, we have Andreas, who's currently sitting in the number 2 spot in the FPL Guy Mini League at a rank of 176. Absolutely crazy. And thank you to Andreas for helping me out in this video. What we're going to do is talk about some of the players that he mentioned for you guys to sort of go for, have a think about for game week 10 and onwards. So really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll leave the link to his Instagram down in the description if you want to check that out. So as you can see, he's currently sitting at 176th in the world, which is phenomenal. And having a look at his team for game week 9 as it stands. So I am making this video on Sunday and currently Spurs are playing and West Ham, Leicester and Brentford. They're currently playing right at the moment. So this isn't his final score obviously. And at the moment, I mean, Chilwell, he's playing phenomenal. 3 goals in 3 of his recent games. Playing absolutely crazy. Cancelo, unfortunately, they did concede and he did pick up a yellow card. So leave him with 1 point. Ramsdale, 3 points. Foden, the second goal you could say is a bit lucky, just tapped him on the way to the goal. But there you go, 18 points, phenomenal. Rafinha unfortunately getting injured. And Mbeumo, he's actually currently playing. Hwang getting another goal. And Kane is currently playing as well, as is Antonio. So far, looking very decent with Salah to play later on, as Trent as well. So 46 points, doing phenomenal. And let's go back and have a look at the rest of the league. So we have Richie, number 1 at the moment, 130th in the world. And we have some crazy ranks up here. There's a couple of top 1k performers, top 5k, top 10k. So I'll scroll down for a bit so you guys, maybe you can see your own name here. That is phenomenal, guys. I'll keep scrolling for you guys. Anyone in page 1 of the FPL Guy Mini League, you've had a cracking start and congratulations to you. Well done, everyone. So how I've planned to do this is I've got 2 defenders, 2 midfielders and 2 forwards to talk about. And what I'll do after each person I speak about, I'll also give you some stats for them. So you kind of have a sort of idea in comparison to some other popular options, how they are performing. So the first man we're going to bring in is going to be Chilwell. We can't start a defense without Chilwell, who's absolutely crushing it at the moment. So we have Chilwell here and 3 goals in his 3 games that he's played in Premier League, 90 minutes, all 3 of them. Looking like he's pretty much nailed on at the moment. He's 10% owned and that's only going to be rising, especially with these fixtures. Newcastle away, Burnley at home, Leicester away could be decent. And I mean, there's some difficult ones, but generally it's looking pretty nice. And personally for me, I'll be wildcarding after game week 11 for game week 12 because there's going to be an international break then. And I haven't used my wildcard yet. So for anyone who's in a similar situation as me, who's going to be wildcarding soon, you're mainly looking at game week 10 and 11 before you're going to hit the wildcard button. So for 10 and 11, these, I mean, it doesn't get better than this, does it? I mean, Norwich could be there, but honestly, Newcastle, Burnley are great fixtures for Chelsea. Definitely could see some clean sheets here and attacking returns. I mean, what's stopping this man? This guy is so attacking. He's always around that box and he is definitely a man you can get in if you're looking for a Chelsea defender. And as for some stats, I'll bring up this other tab here and remove some of the not important kind of things. So goals per 90 will get out, assists per 90, all of this stuff. So the main 3 stats that we need are expected assists per 90, shots per 90 and expected goals per 90. And let me filter that down for this season. So this is what we're basically looking at. Stats are decent. 2.33 shots per 90 for a defender. That is solid. 0.2 for expected goals per 90. Expected assists not as high, but he's not sort of that type of fullback. He's generally holding his position around that box and taking a lot of shots. He doesn't cross too many times or has those passes that gets the final shot away. He's usually the guy who's taking the shot around the box area. So if we're comparing it with someone like Reece James, his teammate, you can sort of create a picture in your head for what we're trying to see here. So you can definitely see that Reece James, his expected assist is a lot higher because the way he plays, he's putting a lot of crosses into the box. So in that essence, he's going to be a lot better. In terms of the other stats, you can see the shooting is pretty good for Reece James as well, but definitely Chilwell is doing better, and expected goals are very, very similar here. And if we're comparing to someone who's very popular like Trent, one of the best defenders in the game, here we go, you can see that as well. Trent putting in a lot of balls into the boxes, his expected assists are really high, but he's not shooting as much or not in those dangerous positions that Chilwell is in. So his expected goals is a lot lower. And when we're talking about them in terms of their fixtures as well, in the next two, I'll definitely prefer Chilwell over someone like Trent. And let's just do one more comparison just for you guys. We'll bring in Cancelo. And you can see here, again, they're very similar. Both of them getting a lot of shots away. But again, Chilwell is higher a little bit. Expected goals per 90, pretty similar. And you can see expected assists, Cancelo is a bit higher there. So hopefully that this kind of creates a picture for you guys in your head and gives a quick comparison of what you are really going for. The second defender we're going to bring in is going to be Jansen. Now he is, he's pretty nailed. You can't say he's not nailed. He's played 90 minutes almost every game, 81 here. And currently it says 33. That's just because the game is currently going on right now. So that's the reason why it says that. But he's 100% nailed on. And this fixture are just lovely. Brentford are not an easy team to play against. Initially, a lot of people said, Brentford at home, Brentford away, these are easy fixtures to target, but they're really not. Brentford are a solid team, both defensively and in attacking wise, they're both incredibly solid. And Jansen, if we go to his history, he's got a couple of assists already. So you can see 3 assists, and he's someone you can go for. And at 4.7, he really frees up that budget to upgrade your team elsewhere, but also having a very, very solid option on your bench. And as for his comparison, we'll just go up here and we'll filter to the specific stats that we just want. So we'll remove these things and there, and we'll filter to this season. You can see that for 4.7 option, he's not bad at all. And if I bring in someone quite similarly priced, such as Marcel, you can see that, there is a difference here. Marcel did have a very strong start, and he is shooting, you could say, twice as much per game. But expected goals per 90, expected assists per 90, Jansen is doing a lot better. And defensively, I would argue that the Brentford defense is a little bit better than the Wolves defense. So hopefully this gives you guys another picture of who you can go for. Now moving on to the midfield, we're going to carry on with those Brentford lads. So we're going to bring in Mbeumo. Now I already mentioned how good that Brentford team is and their attack. Now I've just looked at their stats against Leicester, who they're playing at the moment, and they've had more shots on target than Leicester. And we know Leicester is a pretty decent team. It's not obviously a great stat to go off, but generally Brentford, you do get a lot of shots and a lot of shots on target every game. And you can see already, I've shown you this, that their fixtures are incredible for the next two especially, and even after that. So if you're looking to wildcard soon, you can bring him in again. That's not a problem at all. And I would even recommend him as well as Tony, but we're not going to be talking about Tony in this video. So I'm just talking about Mbeumo for now. And if I bring up some of his stats for you guys, and we'll filter down to what we need. So it'll be this season, and we don't need any of these stats. There we go. So we're looking at a fairly decent statistics for someone who's pretty cheap, but in a pretty solid team. I would say a quite underrated team as well. And if we're bringing in, let's compare him to someone like Rafinha, who we know is absolutely amazing. So you can see his expected goals per 90 is actually better than Rafinha's. In terms of shots, there is a slight difference. About, you can say Rafinha's taking an extra shot a game, but it's not a big difference here. Mbeumo is definitely someone you can go for. Rafinha also actually has very nice fixtures coming up. Hopefully he's back from his injury that he just picked up in his previous game. I'm not sure of the extent of that injury, but he should be ready, and with his fixtures, he is someone you can also consider. And I'll compare him also to Gray, who's looking pretty decent, However, I do believe when Calvert-Lewin is back, he may start to get reduced minutes, although he is playing actually incredibly well. So that is something we need to keep an eye on. So if we bring in Demarai Gray now, there we go. You can see how Mbeumo has a much higher expected goals per 90 and also does take an extra, over an extra shot per game. Expected assists is a little bit lower, but the other two stats really make up for it. And with this price, he's definitely someone you can bring in. The next player I'm going to bring in is going to be Son. Now the next two fixtures aren't the best for Spurs. However, if you're looking to wildcard in game week 11, in game week 12, like I am after the international break, then that's going to be the perfect time to bring in a Spurs player. You can bring in even Kane or Son. We can start looking at their stats closer to that time. But even United and Everton aren't, the worst fixtures. United aren't looking the best. They're going to be playing Liverpool tonight, and that's going to be how we can judge them if we want to bring in someone from Spurs to play against them. However, United, I do believe, could be a little bit tough. However, Everton, very unpredictable. They play good one week, the next game week, like this game week, they concede 5 goals to Watford. So they can be very unpredictable. So someone like Son or Kane can do very well against Everton. And obviously, as mentioned, after that, they have a great run of fixtures. And in terms of how well Son is doing, he's not doing bad at all. Again, he's currently playing at the moment. But before that, he got a goal, 2 assists, a goal, a little bit of a dry spot here. But generally, he is getting those attacking returns. So someone like Son, you can definitely bring him in. And as for a comparison, let's bring in Son here. There we go. There's not really a midfielder at his price point which we can really compare with. So what I'll do is, first of all, let's bring in Salah. I mean, I am expecting Salah's stats to be a lot higher, but just to build a picture for us. So we'll remove these things and this as well as this and filter to this season. There you go. As expected, Salah is doing a lot better in all the stats. However, Son is not too far behind in terms of expected, in terms of his shots. I mean, I guess this isn't the best comparison since Salah is completely in his own league at the moment. Let's bring in someone like Mane, who is a little bit of a closer comparison. So Sadio Mane, there we go. So there you go. His expected goals per 90 is still a bit higher, but you can see that they are fairly similar. And with the run of fixtures that Spurs have, Son's stats can definitely jump up quite a lot. Another comparison we can do is Grealish, who is a little bit cheaper, but we can still do that comparison. There you go. So you can see how the expected assists per 90 for Grealish is a lot higher, but the other two is where Son does outperform Grealish. So I'm just going to bring that point again, the fixtures. Spurs fixtures are looking very good after 2 game weeks, and that's when you can definitely start targeting them. And finally, we're going to talk about the forwards. Now I'm going to bring both of them in at once because I'm going to be comparing both of them together because they are fairly similar priced. So the first one is going to be Wilson. Now with Wilson, he doesn't have the fixtures on his side. If we just go to his fixtures, especially in game week 10, you don't really want to have an attacker who's playing against Chelsea. They are fairly solid and I don't think Newcastle will be able to break them down. So I would avoid him for game week 10. But after that, from game week 11, you can say till game week 15, Wilson does have pretty decent fixtures. And after his return from his injury, he's contributed in both those games so far, a goal in each game. So Wilson being on penalties, and also he is the key man now at Newcastle, I definitely think that he could be a decent option, as does Andreas, who suggested him. So he is someone you can keep an eye on after that Chelsea game for sure. The other player he mentioned was Brentford. Now he is currently obviously out injured, but he is expected to return for the Norwich game. So expected back 31st of October, which is the Norwich game. Now obviously we need to wait for the press conference to make sure that he is actually going to be returning and he is ready to play. And if he is, then we've seen what just happened to Norwich against Chelsea. Now I'm not expecting a 7-0 with Leeds and Norwich, but definitely some goals will be scored. And most of them, I would say, is going to be from Leeds. So if Brentford is back and Rafinha is ready to go as well, then this game is a definite one to target. Leicester and Spurs, they can also concede on their days. And then after that, they have a fairly decent run of fixtures up to game week 15. So definitely Bamford is someone you can keep an eye on, and also if he does return, he will be on those penalties. Now actually, let's go ahead and compare them with each other on the stats. Let's bring in Callum Wilson and let's bring in Bamford here. Here we go. And what we'll do is obviously get rid of this stuff. Only the ones that we need we will keep and filter it to this season. So here you go. You can see expected goals per 90. Wilson does just outperform Bamford. In terms of their shots, it's fairly similar, and expected assists, that's where Bamford does outshine Wilson. One thing to note is their minutes is quite low, and most of those minutes were early on in the season, but they are fairly similar minutes, so it's a fairly decent comparison. Some other players that I will mention here are going to be Dennis. Now, I wouldn't actually go for Dennis unless you're somehow going for him for just 1 week, maybe on a free hit or whatever your plan is. Against Southampton, there is a potential. However, after that, they have a long run of pretty difficult fixtures, so he's definitely an avoid unless you want him just for the Southampton game. The other players I want to mention is obviously going to be Tony. I didn't obviously big up Brentford a lot in this video, so Tony on penalties and the fixtures are there for him. Hwang looking like he's a nailed on starter as well, played pretty much all the minutes since game week 6, and he's contributed a couple of goals, so definitely he is someone you can keep an eye on who is regularly starting. The other one who no one's really talking about him is Iheanacho. Now if I go to his information, you can see he is starting to start pretty much the recent fixtures. The last 3 he has started got subbed off early, and against Brentford he played the full 90 minutes, which is just today, just a couple of minutes ago actually, he just finished. So he is someone, if he does keep on starting, maybe you can just wait. If he starts against Arsenal, then you can pretty much consider he is a set starter and bring him in for that Leeds game. Chelsea will be tough, but after that, again, they have very nice run of fixtures. So these are some of the players that you can consider. And once again, thank you to Andreas for sending me this list of names to help you guys out with your transfers in the upcoming weeks. So I hope you guys are finding this series very useful, and thank you again to everyone who has contributed to this series already. And if you guys know anyone who's currently in the top 1k in the world, then drop their name in the comments or DM it to me on Twitter or Instagram, then I can get their contributions for the upcoming episodes on the series. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, a sub to the channel would be absolutely fantastic, and a like on the video would very much be appreciated. And one final note, if you haven't already joined the FPL Guy Mini League, then you can find the code at the top of the screen, or you can use the auto join link down in the description. With that being said guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.